Hi guys, welcome back to the field. Today I have my Kite DLG, I have my FrSky X20. So on my Kite, this one's a standard layup. It's about 215 grams all up weight. Mine's balanced at about 73 millimeters for CG. I do have some ballast in there. I mean, you can see the wind indicator, there's barely anything. It's about 1 to 2 meters per second, maybe 2 seconds when it's picking up a little bit, but it's very, very calm. I do have some ballast in here. I think it's the 60 gram stick or 70 gram stick, I forget which one. So it's about 270 something, 280 something all up weight. The plane carries weight very, very well. Now, if you're familiar with the Banff 2 and the Fury, which we produce, the Banff 2 is about 18.5 decimeters in wing area. The Fury is about 21.6, I think, and this one's right at 20. So in terms of wing area, it's right between the Banff 2 and the Fury. So it's not quite, as floaty, as forgiving as the Fury. The Fury we maximized how it flies in very low air, very low lift conditions, low launch heights. And the Banff 2 is on the other end of the extreme, very, very high launching, very high penetration, high acceleration. Whereas the Kite, it kind of sits in between. Now, in terms of a DLG, the Kite is a very all-round model, and I think we'll demonstrate that a little bit today. I'm not really sure how the weather conditions are like yet, but hopefully we can show you what the plane is like. Very forgiving. Let's do a quick launch. It launches pretty decently. I think that was about 50 meters on a 90% launch or so. We're looking at about 60, 63 meters. And again, this is ballasted up to about 270, 280, something like that. I'm in cruise mode right now. And we're in the evening, right? Once school started, we can't really fly here until after 5 p.m. So it's about 5:20 p.m. right now. And I'm in thermal mode. A little bit of soft air right there, not climbing very much. I think it was a little bit better further out. The thing with the Kite is it doesn't really punish you if you do weird stuff. Let's say you put too much rudder like what I'm doing right now. It doesn't really punish you, it just cores tighter. It doesn't really drop a wing or anything. Once you open it back up, right in the sun, then it's very nice and flat, nice and floaty. There I tried to pull my elevator more. You see it doesn't really drop a wing when it stalls. Let's come back down. Let's get another flight. Let's launch a little bit harder. That was right in the sun. Oops, pushed over a little bit late. Let's see what way the wind is blowing. The wind is actually blowing away, so we're actually heading upwind right now. The plane is nice and stable. Let's go into thermal. I felt a little bit floaty there, but I'm not 100% sure. In these conditions, we really should be flying without weight. At 215 grams, it just goes up like stupid light air. It'll still go up. The wind's picking back up a little bit. There was just a small gust pulling behind me, so to the other side of the field. I'm not going to hit that from this flight. Maybe we can try for the next flight. Let's come back in. Let's try to hit that. There is definitely some air pulling through. I think that's probably some lift. Come back in. Yeah, you can hear, well, maybe you can't, but I can definitely hear the trees start to rustle over there. There's probably a thermal that just went past that. Let's see if we can hit that. Okay, that was a slightly harder launch. Oh, I'm pushing over late again. Oops. Okay. No, not feeling anything yet. Oh, it's a little sinky over there. Oh, that looked decent. We're getting a little close to that tall tree. Yeah, the air looked decent there, but I'm a little wary of that tall tree. I don't want to smack into a tree at the local school field. You know, if you smack into a tree in the contest, that's fine. But if you smack into a tree at the school, it's a little embarrassing. No, the left part of the turn was not very nice. Couldn't quite wrap up in that. Not quite as much thermal activity as I would hope, but it's relatively calm. Not too much going on, so maybe it's good for me to talk about the plane a little bit. In terms of launch, as I said, about 90%, we're looking at about 60-ish meters. I think the max I've hit with it so far is, I think, 65, 66 meters, something like that. So it's a couple meters lower than the Banff 2. The Banff 2, you do have to pay a bit more attention to your flying speed, to your camber control. So it's a more advanced model. Whereas this one, I think if you're a beginner or a newcomer coming into the sport, or you just want something that's a little lazy to fly, this is a pretty good choice. The fit is not quite as good as the Banff 2. The Banff 2, I would say, has pretty much perfect fit. This one, the fit is not quite perfect, but it's really, really nice for the money you're paying for it. And the finish itself is very good. So I'm very happy with the finish of the model. You know, it climbs really well. Again, we're at 5:30 right now in the evening. We're ballasted up beyond what's reasonable for this type of condition. We're at about 280, 290 grams, and it's still climbing very, very well, as you can see. I can probably open it up a little bit. Let's go into thermal 2. Slow down the plane a little bit more. Flatten out the turn. You see it flies very, very gentle. It's not quite as fast as the Banff 2, as I said, but you can slow it down more. So here, let me just try to slow it down a little bit more. You know, there's no weird tendencies. Actually, that's a little bit of lift right there, I think. Yep. A little bit better on the left. The wind is pushing me. Yeah, I think it's better over here. I'm trying to core it back to the left, but I'm getting pushed to the other side of the thermal. That's more of a pilot thing than a plane thing. There we go. We're centering a little bit better now. Let's not get too far over those trees. Let's come back a little bit. Let's get out of thermal 2. Let's go into thermal 1. Similar spot as before. Air looks decent again, but it's not really climbing. I think it's just kind of maintaining the height. But you can see it's just a very smooth flying model. Let's try to hit it into speed mode. So as you can see, it doesn't accelerate quite as fast as the Banff 2. This is the zone. Oh, we're in the air right there. This is the Zone V2. So if you're familiar with DLGs, or if you've been flying DLGs for a while, you know, Zone V2 has been out since about, I think, 2011, 2012. We had several models using the Zone V2 in the past, such as the Neos, which was our first DLG. Well, we're not in lift. We had the aerial, which was also zone V2. So it's a very, very proven airfoil. It's not, I would argue it's not bleeding edge anymore. There are more advanced airfoils, if you will. For example, there are foils that are more stretching the limits on acceleration. Some of them are pushing the lift boundaries even more. But the Zone V2 is a very honest airfoil. It does everything really quite well. There's no particular weak spots about it. And it takes camber very, very, very well. So you can dial in a lot of camber and it's just not going to do weird stuff to you. And I think that's the point I kind of want to reiterate, is there's not really any bad tendencies about the model. See, we're not in a thermal right now, we're kind of just cruising around. I'm going to go and bring it into thermal B or thermal 2 and pull pull my elevator and kind of just try to mush it. See, you know, you can get it to nose up and stall a little bit, but look at the way it stalls. It's just very, very gentle. I'm going to try to turn too tightly with too much rudder, too much up elevator. There we go. There was a little bit of a stall there. I didn't bank the model enough. See, I'm trying to do some weird stuff with it. And it just kind of keeps flying, right? It's not going to punish you too much. It's indicating a bit of lift right over there. We're still in thermal 2, so it's a lot of camber. I don't remember exactly how much camber I have on here. I think it's 8 or 9 millimeters on my thermal 2. So it's quite a bit of camber. On the BAMF 2 with this much camber, you are going to start being more finicky in terms of your control. You have to be more fine in the way you control the model. And right now I'm just pushing the sticks all over the place and it's still nice and stable. I'm still in thermal 2. The wind picked up a little bit, so you can see it pushing my wing around a little bit, but it's still not giving me any weird tendencies.
Sensor lost.
That's weird. We got a sensor lost. All right, I think that's it for today's video. Let's come back in. Again, guys, this is the Kite DLG. This is the bird graphics. So this is the green, yellow bird. We have several bird graphics in stock. We have some of the lava graphics, and you know, if you're interested, I think it's about $750 right now. Really good deal. Check it out and see you in the next video.